Hi, everybody, and welcome to In This Corner with Russ Anber. I'm Darren along with the coach. We are glad that you tuned in.
How was Vegas?
Fantastic.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, it was great. How could you not have a good time in Vegas? Unfortunately, there was not a fight that I got to attend.
Now, that's not true. In Vegas, there wasn't a fight, but in Nevada, there was. And you could have gone to Prim, Nevada, and watched Yuriorkis Gamboa. I would have.
I have no idea where Prim is. I said to you earlier, I think it's near proper. But anyways, Rusty, one of his favorite fighters in the world, if you watch the show, you know it is Yuriorkis Gamboa. He's the Cuban fighter that has come out, and he's all action. He's nicknamed the Hurricane, and he really is like...
The Guantanamo Hurricane.
Ooh, the Gitmo Hurricane.
That's right.
Hopefully it doesn't get closed down like Guantanamo will. But here's a guy that just fights, and you don't really know what he's going to bring to the table. It's rather frantic. Like I said, he's like a weather front. He is a hurricane. He comes in there, and he throws. In the last few fights, he's been on the canvas. Would he end up getting dropped in this one? Well, he was fighting for an interim title, Rusty, and he looked pretty good. He was taking on Jose Rojas from Venezuela.
And Rojas is an elusive target, but boy, as soon as Gamboa started to find the range, he kept Rojas on his back heel, busted him up, had the eye closed. What's a good, cute little shot, and then he walks away. He's getting so confident and cocky as a pro, I guess you might want to say. But, I mean, he's just so sure of his ability. He's lightning quick. Look at that little quick shot, dances away to admire the handiwork. Now he hits him with a right hand. First it was a left hook. I mean, Gamboa, to me, this guy has all the stuff. He's exciting. He's vulnerable. He comes to fight, and he looks for that knockout right to the very end. Here it is. This is round 10 action, and the referee had seen enough. I think it was a little bit quick stoppage right there, but it was a one-sided affair, Dutchie.
Yeah, Gamboa becomes a world champion in just his 15th fight. It is a 10th round TKO. Although we really kind of have to preface it when we're talking about this kid. He probably had over 200 fights as an amateur in Cuba. Up next is Chris John. I suspect at least somewhere down the line, we're hoping that the two will meet.
Well, we hope so, which is why I'm a little bit upset as to why they called this a WBA interim fight. I mean, as much as, you know, I love Gamboa, I don't think it merits being an interim fight. Chris John is the reigning WBA featherweight champion of the world, and I think it should stay as such until he does fight Gamboa. But watching Gamboa go sure is a treat, Dutchie. He is sure is exciting.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. And I would love to see him and John eventually down the road. And there's talk of Edwin Valero potentially. Speaking of exciting bouts, Wladimir Klitschko, who is pretty much all action, was taking on Peter Manfredo.
You've got to see this.
This was pretty much a brawl right from the get-go.
Round 3 action, you know, as typical fashion, Smichet comes right at him, coming to fight. Oh, and gets hurt there with a right hand. Manfredo just lays it, but Smichet doesn't back down, and they start exchanging bombs in the center of the ring. Oh, there it is. Short, quick right hand beats Smichet's left hook. Dropped him for a quick count there in round 3. Still in round 3 action. Now it's Smichet, Dutchie, if you can believe this. He's got Manfredo on the ropes after going to the canvas, and he comes off firing. And watch the left hook. He catches him with here, and boom, that left hook. What a shot. And Manfredo just takes it, and trust me, Smichet can punch. Here we are, round 6 again. Hard right hand, left hook. That hurts Smichet again. Manfredo moves in for the kill, tries to go for the overhand right. Smichet again just keeps firing back. What courage and guts this guy has. Manfredo just trying to take him out of there. Can't get him out of there in round 6. Just keep trying, then realize I'm not going to get this guy. Here it is, round 7. Smichet coming forward right near the end of the round. Watch it here. You'll get the 10-second buzzer. Watch the left hook here come up. Underneath. Boom. Oh, daddy. That one, Smichet is out. What a left hook by Manfredo. What a shot. Look at it there. Bang. And that was it. If that's not an old daddy, we haven't seen an old daddy in a while.
Yeah, KO win for the Pride of Providence at the 3-minute mark of the 7th round. Really was a great fight. NABF super lightweight belt on the line. Ali Chiba, 29-1-1, 22 KOs, taking on Joel Juarez.
Yeah, and Juarez, you know, although he looked like he was going to come to fight, as soon as he got hit a little bit by Ali Chiba, looked for a quick way out here. You'll see a nice, pretty right hand right there. And look at him, kind of backs away and then goes down after the shot. That's the longest delayed reaction I've ever seen, and that was for the NABF title. So not a great performance from Juarez, and that's too bad, because Chiba had prepared hard for this fight. He wins the NABF super lightweight title.
Undefeated middleweight, David Lemieux, who happens to be 14-0 with 14 KOs, taking on Thomas Davis.
Thomas Davis, Dutchie, had gone 7 rounds with Joel Julio, had knocked out Kendall Holt in 1 round, but can't get out of 1 round here with David. Hits him with a left hook. He hurts his eye. He's complaining about his eye. You see him stagger there. David moves in. This one was over 48 seconds in, Dutchie.
Yeah, that really wasn't much of a fight for Lemieux. who improves to 15-0, as you mentioned, 47 seconds into the first round. And that one, he barely got a lather going. You know what did get me a lather going, though, was that Schmichette fight.
You know what? And I want to just take these few seconds to say, when you have a fighter like Wladimir Schmichette who comes to fight, Dutchy, he puts his heart and soul every time he steps in the ring, regardless of the caliber of opposition, never refuses a fight, never backs down from it. We got to give him a tip of the hat for the courage that he showed. Peter Manfredo, who shared our dressing room, said to me after the fight, I've never been hit as hard as I was hit by Schmichette.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if Schmichette's ever been hit as hard as he was hit.
Good point.
By Manfredo with that left. IBF, IBO flyweight champion Nonito Donaire crushed the previously unbeaten Raul Martinez over 4 rounds, one-sided fight Saturday night in the Philippines. Donaire's third successful defense.
And Dutchy junior flyweight Brian Valoria dethroned longtime IBF champion Ulysses Solis with a spectacular 11th round knockout. This was the second title reign for Valoria, who previously held the WBC belt. Good win for him.
Yeah, Malcolm Klassen produced the performance of his life. He stopped Cassius Beloy in the 7th round to regain the IBF junior lightweight title in South Africa.
And undefeated WBC international welterweight title holder Saluk Aydin of Turkey was successful in his United States debut with a 12-round split decision over Saeed Ouali, and that was a heck of a fight. Watch that.
All right, we have to take a short break. When we come back, the coach is going to go one-on-one with the Cobra. Rusty talks to Carl Froch about his upcoming fight with Jermanie Taylor. You're watching In This Corner. Welcome back to the show. Heavyweight title holder Nikolai Valuev will have a chance to avenge his only professional defeat. Finally, he's going to take on Ruslan Chagaev in a bout scheduled for May the 30th in either Germany, Rusty, or Helsinki, Finland. Chagaev defeated Valuev via majority decision in April of 2007. Then after one defense, Chagaev was supposed to fight Valuev, but that was postponed.
Dutchy, it's possible that former welterweight champion Antonio Margarito could return to the ring as early as June or July against former WBC welterweight champion Carlos Baldemir. The bout would likely take place in Margarito's hometown of Tijuana, as he and his trainer Javier Capitaleo are under suspension for the hand-wrapping incident in the U.S.
Yeah, see, that's not right. He should not be boxing. Who's the next opponent for Paul the Punisher Williams? How about B-Hop? According to Williams' trainer, Williams would, quote, take that fight all day long at a catchweight. One of Hopkins' main strengths is that he intimidates people. Paul would not be intimidated, unquote.
Tell you what, he's got guts, this Paul Williams, doesn't he? WBO welterweight world champion Miguel Cotto has announced that Puerto Rican countryman Joe Santiago is his new trainer. The change came after Cotto parted ways with his uncle and longtime trainer Evangelista Cotto in a highly publicized incident last week, Dutch.
Wladimir Klitschko promises to teach David Haye a lesson after the Brit showed up at a news conference on Thursday wearing a T-shirt depicting himself holding the dismembered bloody heads of both the Klitschko brothers. Give me a break. Klitschko called the act unspeakable. The two scheduled the fight on June the 20th in Germany.
Sometimes things go too far, don't they?
You know, the last time we saw Carl Froch in the ring, he was involved in a WBC super middleweight fight with none other than Jean Pascal. It turned out to be one of the fights of the year over in England. While he's going to return to the ring, he's currently training in Niagara Falls at Billy Irwin's gym, and recently Rusty got a chance to talk to him about his bout this weekend with Jermanie Taylor.
How does it come about? Not only do you have to come over here or come to the States to fight Jermanie Taylor because you want that big money fight, how do you end up setting training camp up in Niagara Falls?
Yeah, we've got a guy called Adam Harris who we work very closely with.
Right.
That's our Canadian connection. And also the fact that Jean Pascal is from Canada, and he gave me one hell of a fight in December back in England. So I just thought, who better to use for sparring if he was up for it than Jean Pascal. He's young, he's hungry, he's ambitious, and he still wants to learn. And in boxing, you're always learning, not taking anything away from Jean Pascal. He's a top fighter. I'm still learning myself, but I knew that he gave me 12 rounds of hard-fought contest. It was a good fight. He hit me with shots he shouldn't have hit me with. He took my best shot. I took his best shot. So there's a lot of respect between two warriors there.
Okay, so what does Carl Froch do against Jermanie Taylor? And I'm asking you this because I want to get to a point with Jean Pascal how you adapted. But what do you want to do against Jermanie Taylor?
Jermanie Taylor, what I'd like to do is put him on his back foot, take the fight to him, put pressure on him. But I think early on that might suit him because he sort of fires shots back. He punches with his opponents early on. He stands a bit flat-footed and he looks to get his shots off. So plan A for me is always to jab and move, hit the opponent, not get hit back. That's always plan A because that makes the fight easy. depending on what Taylor brings to the table, what he brings to the ring, depends on how I react. I think Bruce Lee said for every action, there's a reaction. So whatever Taylor brings to me, I will nullify it with my skills. That's what I train to do. So plan A, jab and move, don't get hit, easy night's work.
That might have been contrary to what the plan was with Jean. The first 5 rounds with Jean, you went toe-to-toe with him. And the fight was, I mean, you guys were given as good as you were getting for the first 5. And then you showed something that I think maybe might have been a question mark among the boxing media. You showed a certain adaptability. And after round 5, you changed.
Yeah.
And Jean wasn't able to make that change, and you did.
That's it, yeah.
It's probably a good thing in your career for you to be able to do that, if need be, against Taylor.
Definitely. Well, after round 4 or 5, after getting hit with a few shots, finally I could listen to my trainer, Robert McCracken. I could hear what he was saying, and because you don't always hear things in the corner. You hear the crowd, you're in the zone, and I could hear him jab, move, use your boxing ability. You know, he was losing his mind at me because I was going in front of Jean Pascal, standing in range and having a toe-to-toe exchange with him, which I didn't need to do that early on in the fight. And then from round 5, 6, 7 onwards, I got behind my jabs, started using my head movement a little bit more, and I was just picking them apart, and I was making the fight a lot easier. But I had it in my head, world title fight, WBC, one of the main ones. Go out there and just go out there and just take the fight. And I think Jean Pascal brought the same attitude, and that's why it made it such a great fight.
And tell the fans of Carl Froch what they expect to see against Jermaine Taylor then.
Tell the fans. Yeah. The fans are going to see an emphatic battle between 2 great warriors. I mean, Jermaine Taylor's a good fighter. He's strong, he's tough, and he's now stepping up to super middleweight. But he's coming up against the best super middleweight in the world. I'm coming over here, I'm champion. I'm a champion for a reason. Anybody who saw the Jean Pascal fight knows what I'm about and knows that I'm not going to sit down and let Jermaine Taylor have his own way. I'm going to be firing back as much as he's firing at me, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to bring that belt back to Nottingham, back to England, because I'm a champ. You can't forget that.
God bless. Good luck to you.
I appreciate that.
Nice talking to you, Carl.
Thanks very much.
All right.
I really enjoyed that, Rusty. Well-spoken young man.
Oh, great.
And if you want to hear the entire interview, all 11 minutes of it, you can go to tsn.ca. Some other big fights coming up this weekend. Juan Manuel Lopez against Jerry Penalosa for the WBO Super Bantamweight title.
Corey Spinks, Felix Sturm, Carlos Balzai, they're all on for this weekend as well. Some great fights this weekend, buddy.
Yep, so we'll have all your highlights on the next edition. But stay tuned. We're just getting warmed up. Still ahead, we're going to take a closer look at Oscar De La Hoya as he exits center stage. Outstanding 8 and Soapbox are coming up next, and they are golden.
Boxing is what I was born to do. And when I can't do it anymore, when I can't compete at the highest level, it's not fair. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to nobody. And I've come to the conclusion that it's over.
And that's exactly how he walked away, although, come on, we still know that he's going to be in the promotional business for a long, long time. But what a fighter. Here is Oscar De La Hoya's most outstanding 8 moments. Here we go.
Amid one of the most personal and hate-filled verbal attacks from his opponent leading up to the fight, Dutchie, Oscar displayed one of the greatest performances in the ring as he destroyed Ricardo Mayorga in just 6 rounds to win the junior middleweight championship of the world.
Number 7.
In one of the most anticipated super fights of our time, Oscar outboxed and outpunched the hard-hitting Trinidad. Ahead on points, Oscar would give away the last 4 rounds, and then to everyone's shock, Trinidad was awarded a controversial decision.
Number 6.
After knocking out Jimmy Bredal to win his first world title, De La Hoya would defend it once more before moving up to the lightweight division to challenge for the lightweight title. The site was the MGM Grand in Las Vegas as De La Hoya knocks out Paez in just 2 rounds.
Number 5.
After defending his title 3 times, De La Hoya would meet his most formidable opponent in a battle of superstars. Rafael Ruelas brought his 43-1 record into the Caesars Palace ring. His experience would not be nearly enough as De La Hoya knocks him out in 2 rounds.
Number 4.
After dropping a close split decision to Mosley some 3 years earlier in a battle of Californians, the stage was now set for the rematch. In one of the best performances ever, De La Hoya appears to outbox and outpunch the faster Mosley. To everyone's surprise, Shane is awarded a highly controversial win.
3.
After stopping the great JC on cuts 2 years earlier in their first meeting, the rematch was now set at the welterweight limit for the championship of the world. The result would change little, as Oscar would dominate Chavez with his speed, forcing Chavez to retire on his stool.
Number 2.
In one of the most highly anticipated super fights of the last 25 years, Oscar would battle boxing's best pound-for-pound fighter at the MGM Grand. Mayweather would score a split decision win over De La Hoya. The loss, however, would not tarnish De La Hoya's reputation as an elite fighter.
And number 1.
In what might be the most bitter and personal fight of his career, De La Hoya met his Californian arch-rival, Fernando Vargas. Vargas continually belittled De La Hoya and had questioned De La Hoya's Mexican heritage. Once again, Oscar would offer up one of the most dynamic displays of his career as he knocked Vargas out in 11 rounds.
Russ Anber's Outstanding 8 is brought to you by Arby's. Try Arby's new French dip for only $3.99. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
After dedicating his Olympic experience to his mother, who had died of cancer in 1990, Oscar De La Hoya went on to capture Olympic gold in Barcelona in '92. While Oscar had been a long-time amateur standout, his gold medal performance was nonetheless an outstanding achievement. As impressive as that was, there are few who could have imagined the crossover impact Oscar was going to have on the world of professional boxing. From East LA, where he learned his trade, Oscar parlayed his fast hands and powerful left hook, along with his boyish looks, into becoming the first mainstream boxing star since Ray Leonard some 17 years earlier. Like Leonard as well, Oscar was ready to accept what he felt were the biggest challenges, and sometimes the greatest risks. After only 11 pro fights, De La Hoya was matched with Jimmy Bredahl for the world super featherweight title. In a dominating performance, Oscar would capture his first world championship. Before his career was over, Oscar would win world titles in 6 different weight classes. While many may remember Oscar late in his career as he handpicked his fights and made sometimes yearly appearances, the early Oscar was a fighting champion who took on the world's best. Names like John Molina, Rafael Ruelas, Gennaro Hernandez, Jesse James Leija, Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker, Ike Corte, Felix Trinidad, and of course Shane Mosley are all an example of the quality of opposition De La Hoya faced in his career. While it's true that there are a few less than memorable performances in Oscar's career, and of course I'm thinking about his fights against Felix Sturm and Bernard Hopkins, Oscar's career was not only an example of excellence, it was a rare display of skill, power, and of course courage. Not only had Oscar proven to be the biggest name in the sport, he was also showing that he may be one of the smartest as well. In 2001, with the help of Richard Schaefer, Oscar formed Golden Boy Promotions. In no time, Golden Boy became the leading promoter in the game. Unlike other promoters before him, De La Hoya decided to tap into the immensely popular Latino market. The results were felt immediately. Oscar has had his critics as well as his supporters. Love him or hate him, however, Oscar De La Hoya will gracefully enter boxing's Hall of Fame not only as one of the greatest fighters of this generation, not only as one of the most popular fighters of all time, but with the same class he has always shown both in and out of the ring. However, unlike other fighters before him, Oscar's next career in boxing is just getting started. Dutch?
Thanks, Rusty. Coming up next, they'll answer your questions about Carl Froch, Jermanie Taylor, and more. You're watching In This Corner. Okay. First question comes from Frank. He wants to know, who do you think wins the Carl Froch, Jermanie Taylor fight this weekend?
Had to be that one for the first question, didn't it? Of course it did. Okay, here's the way I see it. I had a chance to sit down, of course, and talk with Carl Froch and kind of get a feeling on what he was, how he felt going into the ring. I have also, of course, spoke to Jean Pascal. And I think based on what I heard from them all, I think this. I think that Carl Froch is going to have to put an inordinate amount of pressure on Taylor, break him down. But in order to get the win, I think he's going to have to stop Jermanie Taylor. I think if Taylor is permitted to box and move and use his skills, which are, as good boxing skills, if not better than Carl Froch, I think he'll get away with a decision. So by a knockout, I'm picking Carl Froch. By a decision, I'm going with Jermanie Taylor.
So you got both your bases
Well, no, I'm
covered.
just saying how they could win.
Yeah, you're on both sides of the fence. I hear you.
I'm just saying that's the way they could win.
Sure.
Don't make me pick a
that
guy.
way you're going to have it covered. What do you mean? From Blair, you're out of the prediction business, man. You've lost your spine.
Listen, this is for people's information.
Right. No, and I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
From Blair, he says, and I like this, too. You going to duck this one?
Tell me.
It says if Gamboa met Valero, Valero knocks him out. What do you think?
Right now, okay, I said to you earlier that right now, the fight doesn't look like it's going to be made because Valero's now is going up to 135 pounds. And Gamboa is staying at 126. But if they ever do meet, I always pick the better boxer of the two, and I'm still going with Gamboa. As dangerous as Valero is, the overall skills belong to Gamboa, and I'm going with him. But I do have some interesting thing to point out to you. We're talking about Edwin Valero. Edwin Valero is now going to fight Bradis Prescott July 25th for the WBC lightweight title. And it just goes to show you how unfortunate that is. Prescott's getting a shot at a dangerous fighter like Valero, and Amir Khan is fighting Kotelnik for the WBA title. Kotelnik can't stick a stamp to an envelope, and he's getting Amir Khan's getting him for the title.
No, but you know what?
No justice in the world.
Well, there is, because we know that it works itself out eventually.
Maybe.
You can't hide in the ring. Isn't
No,
that
you
what
can't.
they say?
That's right. You run, but you can't
And I
hide.
don't think Bradis Prescott's scared of anybody.
No,
So-
he's probably not. It's going to be a heck of a fight with him and
That's
Valero.
gonna be crazy.
That one ends in a knockout for sure.
Yeah.
Y'all get all the good info here, huh?
From Jim, it says, I don't understand how in the world, I love the way you're starting it, Jim, by the way.
Go ahead.
Because I
How
don't
in the
understand
world?
them either, French
What,
or
tell me.
English. You can rank Marquez as your #1 pick. Pacquiao is your #3 pick during the episode played on the week of April the 13th when Pacquiao actually met Marquez twice and Marquez
Killer.
failed to beat him both times.
Killer, hang on one second. It was my favorite fighters. It wasn't ranking somebody over and above somebody else. It was picking my favorite fighters. So I just picked Juan Manuel Marquez as my favorite fighter. That's it. Not that he's better or anything, just that he's my favorite fighter, the guy I like to watch the most.
I'm doing my favorite fighters.
Oh, I got
I'm gonna do my
defense extraordinaire.
Hey, next week we do talk Pacquiao, Hatton, and more. All your highlights. Thanks for watching.
Russ Anber's Clothing by Pellegrino Castronovo.